Well, my name is Brianna Burnette. I'm a Furman alum. I graduated in 2018 I majored in elementary education with a minor in African American story studies and African diaspora cultures. I'm currently in the Furman graduate program for literacy, um, for a master's program in teaching. And currently I'm a fourth grade teacher in Spartanburg District 7 schools in South Carolina. Um, I could basically talk all day about the different experiences teaching. It's something that you can't just sign up to do. It's something you definitely have to have as a calling or that you're passionate about. One of my biggest inspirations, I will always say, is my parents were my first teachers. So they grew up within segregated public schools in South Carolina. So a lot of the times, because they didn't have access to good and diverse books, a lot of the times they didn't see themselves in the books or see themselves with the toys or the dolls that they wanted. So growing up as a child, they made sure that I had the opportunities that they lacked. And that really pushed me as a teacher. So even when we were at school, if my teachers didn't teach me about Black history, my parents did. They took me to the museums. They made sure that I understood about our culture and our heritage and really our worth. And it's sad to say I've had good teachers, but I never had teachers that understood how important diversity is. And all the studies will let you know majority of the classrooms are filled with brown and Black children, but their teachers don't reflect them. So you want to make sure that regardless if you're an African American teacher, white teacher, Hispanic, Asian, that you're working to put those differences to like break down those barriers and really expose those kids to not only their own cultures but to learn about others. And that's something like I was really passionate about teaching. And that's, if you walk in my classrooms, there's always the diverse literature there. We have those hard conversations because I believe it starts at a young age, and you have to really make sure that you teach the kids that. And then on top of that, I think that learning should be fun. So if we're going to play some games, if we're going to make a pizza and learn about fractions, I want this to be the most enjoyable experience that you have, that you remember when you left Miss Burnett's classroom, that you were welcomed, you had a fun time, and you got along with your crazy teacher no matter what she did. Like I said, so the big thing that I prioritize in the classroom is definitely diversity, a safe and learning environment, and just, spreading love and kindness with the kids. Ultimately, I want them to understand empathy and acceptance of others because I don't feel like they have that many opportunities to learn about that. Um, it's not that easy doing that in a public school just because of the different barriers that you have. So one thing that was very cool that I had from Furman is a lot of good mentors. Our education program is great for that. The professors and your teachers always come and check in on you. And I found out about the NCTE award actually from one of my professors at Furman, Dr. Kelly. She messaged me and said, "Hey, this looks like a great opportunity. You should think about applying." And the award was the NCTE Educators of Color Award. So basically, thousands of teachers across the country apply for this award. They give you another mentor. Um, they give you another mentor, and they give you the opportunity to say, what do you want to research or to try with your kids that you don't feel like you have enough support right now in the schools. And I told them I wanted to have those conversations. I wanted my students to be able to do more than just what South Carolina required them to learn. I teach at a Title I school, so that means all of my students 100% live below the poverty line. So um, they all have they all some of my students don't have access to the internet at home. They all come from different families. They all it's just gun violence in the neighborhoods is a problem. So a lot of the times, if a child came in hungry or if a child came in upset because of gunshots all night, you have to really understand that as a teacher. And I felt like it's more than just saying, oh, it's going to be okay, and then giving them a book and sending them to the counselor for 2 seconds. You want to let the kids kind of take advantage of that and talk about this and how to improve their community. So I wrote that in my proposal, that I wanted the kids to be able to take advantage of their own curriculum and talk about what mattered in their lives to make a difference. And they selected 6 educators from across the country, and I was one of them. So that was a huge blessing from it. We were able to go to DC, work and connect with all the teachers across the country. Throughout the year, they checked in, and we worked on our projects and our proposals. And it was intimidating at first because I was a second-year teacher, and some of these people who applied already had their PhDs, and they were writing grants for these colleges, and here I am just trying to do something with my fourth graders. But they really made me feel supported with that, because they're saying, no, you're doing some awesome things. That sets the tone for what we're doing here. So it was a really good community to be around, that we're still supported. And after we did NCTE, that's when like a lot of connections started. So afterwards, we were invited to speak at another conference, and that conference was the annual African American Children and Family Conference. So I went over the projects and stuff that I did with my students, and we presented it for, prospective teachers, current teachers. I showed them how they could implement this in the classroom, still do it with grades, and still follow their guidelines and bylaws to allow kids to take advantage of their curriculum. Um, Honestly, out of all of them, because at the school that I was at, we had quite a few first year teachers. And the biggest thing that stands apart from Furman's education program is the mentor. So it's not really 4 years. It's not a 5 year program, but it's like they're with you for those years, because they come in, they give you a mentor that helps you set up your classroom, help grade papers, whatever you need to do. And that's not something that you get as a first year teacher. They kind of just throw you in it. So I feel like Furman really prepared me for, how to be organized to handle certain situations. Everything from our senior block, they talked about, we took a lot of technology integration classes. So when the school shut down, I was able to do a lot of innovative things with my students with their computers, versus my colleagues, just because we had that experience. My mentor came, checked in on me like every other week. She partnered with me, and one thing that I do every year with the kids is I actually take them to Furman on MLK Day, and I'm partner with Deborah to bring like some fourth, fifth, third, and first grade students, so they learn about the legacy of Dr. King, and to volunteer and see what it's like to be on a college campus. A lot of kids have Some of my students have never left Spartanburg, so my mentor came to help support and volunteered with that. So that's just how much of a close knit community it is. The biggest thing is the support, because often in times when you're a teacher, especially a first year teacher, you feel alone. But when you have somebody there supporting you, and they provided like one for my senior year, one for when I was first year teaching. So, and they still email and check in on me, and my professors we still do research together. So it's something that I'm very much appreciative of, but I know like that's not everybody's situation or case scenarios when it comes to after you graduate from college. It's kind of like they release you, but they're still there if you got to call them back. Honestly, the best thing is to make those connections and take a risk, because in our climate, in our communities today, not everybody is passionate to bring that into the workplace or bring that into their community. So a lot of the times you can feel alone trying to do that. So the best way is to build those connections first, and try it. Introduce something that you're passionate about, or see what the need is in your workplace, or how your community could do more to serve others. And you're not the only one who's interested in there. So especially if you build those connections with other people, and really gather those resources, people are out there to help and support you. And I can definitely say Furman's one of the communities that you would reach out for, because I wouldn't have been able to do half the stuff I have accomplished without their support.